Commanding General Yohana here, ISUPK, the original ISUPK, 1969, Body of Christ. Here's what I want to tell you, man. Now, I want you to think about something for a minute. You've been studying the scriptures. You've been watching us on tape. You've been watching all kinds of camps on tape. And as you've been watching and studying, you realize that it's coming to the point where you got to put this into action, that you need to step out there on the street and handle that work. Now, here's what happens to a ton of brothers. A ton of brothers go out there without coming through the school and learning what they need to learn. And what happens is they run out there and then they run into problems that they don't know about. And they try to get them problems answered online and calling brothers and all that. And it creates a bunch of confusion. And in many cases, it eventually chokes the truth. It look like it ain't gonna choke it now because you feeling strong, your energy's up. Listen to me, man. Listen to me. You understand? I've been doing this 40 plus years. Okay? Ask anybody my name. It's going to all be bad, which it's supposed to be. All right? Christ said when they speak all manner of evil against you, that's when you know you're doing this work. Do yourself a favor. Come to the ISUPK first. Learn from the original school first. Even if you think it's too militant or too this, too that, don't let anything block you from getting the pure knowledge first, straight from ISUPK. I'm saying this out of love because I'm seeing too many brothers fall. They're getting up under cats. They're getting what they click. Bring your click here and let your click handle ISUPK. Because here's the deal. If your click ain't strong enough to handle ISUPK, why would you go out on the street and get swallowed up out there? And if you feel like ISUPK ain't got it all down, then you should be man enough, you and your crew, to come to us and lay down and break bread and talk about these scriptures. Ain't no harm gonna come to you. Ain't no harm come to a man that disagree with the truth. You ain't trying to harm us. We damn sure ain't trying to harm our own. So come to the ISUPK, sit down in our classes, learn from us, and then you can make your serious decision on what it is that you're supposed to be. And I guarantee you, you're going to realize that it was much more than what you saw on that video, man. Much love to all you warriors learning, growing, and getting ready to bust out into this work. I'll see you soon. Shalom, family.
Hear the hunger in my voice. They used to tell me to speak up. The problem wasn't what I was saying, they couldn't keep up. Instead of moving around with some patience, they tried to speed up. It got colder than a bitter bitch, found me a way to heat up. What's a favor for a favor if we all didn't make it? Kept it 100 with everybody, but they just won't change. I ain't get caught up in the hype, cause I ain't feel like I made it. Couldn't picture me here now, but here's your moment to frame it. And I ain't never understand that self-entitlement spirit. I felt your vibe, I don't wanna get near it. Before I made the appearance, I took a second, took a look in the mirror. This dialogue, the only thing that I fear. Y'all got me fucked up. It's all passion. It's tradition. It ain't fashion. It's no action. They make threats and it's still passive. I think massive. No response. That's still tact. Y'all should quit rapping. Cheap shots. I'm cinematic. I ain't average. I'm an overthrow fanatic. How I go, you lose and win like asthmatics. I got first. That's automatic. I'm the best in my division. In the ghetto like the pigeons. In the hood like the engine. You a bird for that chicken. I don't fake split decisions cause my mind made up, nigga. We in the end of time, but my time ain't up, nigga. I was young and running wild and wide-eyed like a cabbage patch. I had to get it as vivid, adapted to my habitat. It's certain shit I won't do, certain shit you can't prove. My shit sound like a payday, yours like more when the rent. If I had $1 for every dime you counted, I would be broke. Watching me coast, got a better chance, boxing the go. And they know I'm raw, and they know the squad, and I'm feeling lost, still in charge. I don't make it follow, I follow the law. Standing tall like they on Mars. I just got a call from my bro, he behind the wall, he told me let it off. Niggas lying for some cat, I got a different line in me. Everybody intimidated, I got that guy in me. You can focus on the dimes, I'd rather keep my nine with with me, help me get this off the ground. Just know you won't fly with me now.
I try to make the news. I ain't playing by the rules. I've been trying to play it cool, but that ain't gonna be the living. Y'all out here looking like fools. Home the truth. I ain't never had to choose.
I'm trying to get beamed up. Man, y'all try and make the news. I ain't playing by the rules. I've been trying to play it cool, but that ain't gonna pay the bill. Y'all out here looking like fools. Home of the truth. Y'all ain't never had to choose. Trying to get beamed up. Man, y'all try and make the news. I ain't playing by the rules. I've been trying to play it cool, but that ain't gonna pay the bill. Y'all out here looking like fools. Home of the truth. Y'all ain't never had to choose. Trying to get beamed up.
Another nigga like this used to have that white bitch popping on the night shift. Now I'm one westward sharper than the ice pick on you rappers' necks, and it's feeling like some vice grips. Yeah, that's light shit. Send my bro a kite quick. Ties of war, we ain't forget about you. Keep your light lit. Rappers can't see. Most of them scared to witness. Go and close your eyes. There's one right here for the trenches. Bad bitches, natural hair or extensions. Hood niggas that'll poly grip like some dentures. Runners on them fences. 23 and 1 out. Praying that that commissary hit before it run out. With riches on the gram, dog filter with their tongue out. Couldn't stay home because they found the dugout. Closed casket, burner in the low jacket. My co-captain, riding on these whole rappers. My hoes fabulous. Now I don't mean that derogatory, but I'm a player and just know my women riding for me. I avoided Maury. I got 2 jets. If I can't make it through for them, then I'm useless. Sit down that roof, Chris, with a couple bosses. After the war, just to count our losses. It's not many. You see a smile on my face, but I'm not friendly. Gun on my waist, sipping white Henny. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Waiting on the storm in my whole life. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Living in the storm in my whole life. My whole life. It's so melodic. When I be dropping this ebonics, this ghetto phonics, it got me on the level supersonic. My bomb atomic, and you know where you can find me. Somewhere probably put in this paper origami. My name is pure as the Sani. My wave is like a tsunami. I went from 0 to 100, feeling like Ricky Bobby. I made a deal with the Reaper. Got a couple wives, they some keepers. Talk a lot of shit, but you can't walk a mile in my sneakers. Bitches go to Miami, come home with change features. Now she got a BBL, her ass fatter. Trying to show up all them niggas that laughed at her. Now when they see her, they only wanna fuck her. They just wanna touch her. They don't wanna cuff her. They just wanna come and kick it with her like a punter. Turned her to a runner, now it's all aboard the train. Fenty on her face, but it's not concealing the pain. It's a shame. That's why I'm in the hood like some rap snacks. I know niggas kill you and your mama for a scat pack. Dark tech. Matte Black, they do it for half that. Had you like 90s Missy in a fucking trash bag. I'm from Philly, we don't do bank accounts, just cash app. I spit a verse and I just watch the time slow. This that guy flow, this that shit that rappers die for. This that uncut Tahoe Wall straight from Pablo Escobar. I be at the ball like Moscato. They think it's effort, but no, this that block work. Make the countermeasure. Take pleasures making an op hurt. Lighters in the sky, cause every verse is a concert. My mind work at speed y'all can't fathom. Listen to the words of a champion. You can't. The streets need another anthem. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Waiting on the storm in my whole life. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Living in this world in my whole life, my whole life.
Hey, Shalom Israel. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. Hey, Shalom Israel. We are the ISUPK, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. And since 1969, we have been teaching the truth according to the Bible, that blacks, Hispanics, and natives are the 12 tribes of Israel. You understand? And if you're in this class tonight, right, what I need you to realize is that you have one duty. You have one duty to keep. If you're a black, Hispanic, or native, you watching this class tonight, you have one duty. And that's to realize who you are and realize who the enemies are, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what you got to realize, man. Listen, ISUPK been established since 1969 teaching this truth, and if you didn't know it, you should definitely be in these classes learning this truth, man. You know what I mean? Say shalom, Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shabaraka Thumb to all the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh Shamar Ilathan Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shah to all the sisters. You know what I'm saying? Welcome back to another class, man. You know what I'm saying? This is the Brotherhood class, man. You know what I mean? Been a minute since I was able to hop in here, man, but we definitely in here tonight, man. Definitely in here tonight. If you have any questions, if you're watching the class online, if you have any questions, type them into the chat. Make sure you sign in for attendance. You know what I'm saying? It's going down. Let me get that link for the attendance real quick, and I'll put that in here for you. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Slide here. There we go. How about that? We'll do it like that. Yeah. That's the one. There we go. We're going to throw that in there real quick, and we're going to get this class on the road. There's been a lot going on in the world, man. It's a lot going on in the world, man, but we definitely going to get into it, man. So if y'all see this link, either if you're watching on Facebook or if you're watching on YouTube, definitely hit the link and make sure you check into the class for attendance of watching tonight's class. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's a lot going on in the world, man. It's a lot going on in the world. I don't know if y'all watched that One West Perspective Sunday. Oh, Salaki, but I was on there talking about Nolan Wells' situation, man, and it made me think a lot about, you know, as I raise my children and as I raise my, you know what I mean, the ones that's around me, what's the role of a father, right? And what's the responsibility of a father? You understand? We kind of talked about that during the podcast on Sunday, but I think it was heavy to talk about it now. Like, all right, what is the function and role and reason, and what is a father supposed to be doing? You feel me? That's really the question we asking. And so many times we've, you feel me, we've talked about these things, but it's like everybody got an opinion. Everybody has an opinion on what a father is, but is that right? And is it what the Lord says? Is it what God would have us to do? Or is it just another person's idea of what a father is? A lot of people are like, if you're watching the class, do this for me. Write in the chat what you think a father is. What is a father? You know what I mean? Give me your definition of a father. Hey, Shalom, Lord Christ. Good to see you. I think it's Javars, right? Javars? Good to see you here, young man. Javars, good to see you, bro. You know what I mean? Let me type into the chat, man. If you let me know what you think a father is, man. What's your definition of a father? I'm gonna give y'all a couple of seconds to do that, and then we're gonna get into it, man. You know what I'm saying? Give y'all a couple of minutes to say what is the definition of a father. Yeah. Yeah. Bro said a protector. Damn right, bro. That's definitely one function of a father. I would agree with that. A father is a protector. I would agree with that. I think that's definitely one component of a father. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give y'all Merriam-Webster's dictionary definition, right? And then we're gonna go from there. Let me share this screen real quick, and then I'm gonna share y'all the definition. So this is a father, right? This is what Merriam-Webster defines a father as. This is a male parent, a man who has begotten a child, also a male animal who has sired offspring. A father who is God or the first person of the Trinity. You can see that even Merriam-Webster is a even Merriam-Webster is a Christian. You feel me? So, but this is what Merriam-Webster says: the first person of the Trinity, one related to another in a way suggesting that of father to child, right? And then an old man used as a respectful form. So all these definitions say what a father is, right? But none of them really tell you what is the responsibility of a father. What is a father supposed to do? What is the role of a father to a child? What is the role of a father to a wife? What is the role to a father to his community? None of those questions are answered in this. So there's no book that tells you what a father is. There's no book that says, all right, this is what a father really is. This is how you're supposed to be. This is how you raise your children, and this is what you're supposed to do. So it's no wonder why you got so many fathers out here that's doing different things. You know what I'm saying? And I got a story I'm going to pull up right now. What a father in America does, right? And we're going to talk about what is the role of a father, all right? Let me share this tab real quick. And now make it bigger so y'all can see. This story came out, when was this story posted? I think it was earlier this week when I saw it, maybe last month. Yeah, a little bit late last month. July 27 when the story was posted. But read the headline. The headline says, Dad fatally shot his wife and fire and unaliving himself, authorities say. It says the bodies were found Friday inside the Grand Haven residence, police said, and the children were 5 to 15 years old. Now, this is a father in America. This is a father in America. Law enforcement, you see the caption here, law enforcement officers investigate the scene of a fatal house fire in Grand Haven Township, Michigan on July 24. Now, a question you got to ask is, that a father? I mean, what the definition say? We just wrote the definition, read the definition like it said, a dad is a male parent, a man who has begotten a child. This is a father. This is what we're looking at. What we're looking at right now in this article is a father. Yo, man, Larry Brown said, Shalom, Lord Christ, man. He said a protector, a provider, and a teacher. I would agree with those. I think those are definitely, you know what I mean, components of a father. I would agree with that. You know what I mean? I would definitely agree with that. But you know what, bro? I'm going to say this too, man, and we can get into it a little bit further down, but I hear this often that a father's supposed to be a provider, right? A father's supposed to be a provider. But what is he providing? If a father is unable to provide, Shalom, y'all, about you, man. Shabbat. Good to see y'all. Yeah, man. But, you know what I mean? I see this all the time. That a father is supposed to be a provider. A father is supposed to be a protector. A man. This is what they say. You watch these shows, they say a man is supposed to be a provider, a protector. You feel me? All these different things. But if a man can't provide, what is the threshold? Is it if he provides $1,000 a month, he's qualified as a protector, as a provider? So like, or what if he can't provide $1,000? What if he can only provide $950? He just couldn't get that last 50. Is he no longer a provider? You know what I'm saying? But I think that's why I say I think these are definitely components to it. Because I think a father should be a provider. I think a father should be a protector. I think a father should be a teacher. And not only, and I'm going to take me out of it, right? I'm going to take me out of it. We're going to go into the scriptures. And we're going to see what is a father supposed to do? What is a protector supposed to do? What is the responsibility of a father? That's what we're going to cover tonight. I'm going to read a little bit of this article, and then we're going to jump. I ain't going to read too much of this. I might give you a couple of paragraphs. It says, make sure y'all can see it. Most High Christ. A man fatally shot his wife and their 6 children before he set the Michigan home they shared ablaze and turned the gun on himself, authorities said Monday. Christopher Carroll Kywicks, however you say that, 47, killed his wife Amanda, 39, and their children, ages 5 to 15. Ottawa County Sheriff Captain Jake Sparks said at a news conference they were found dead after the first responders arrived at the home in Grand Haven on the eastern shore of Lake Michigan late Friday morning. Autopsy showed all had been shot, he said. The investigation at this point shows that it's a murder-suicide and Salakia. It's a, I can't say that, Salakia. It's a murder, whatever, with the fire being started after the murders. It says 4 of the children were the couple's biological kids and 2 11-year-old girls had been adopted. Adding that the children's identities would not be released at this time. Now, this is a terrible story. Even if it is, you know what I mean, even if it is an oppressor, these are oppressors that were unalived. Still, it's a terrible story for these children and this wife to go through. You know what I mean? It's a terrible thing for them to go through. And you look at these 2 girls who have been adopted, whose mother and father was somewhere else, didn't have nothing to do with this person, were also victims of this terrible tragedy. But you got to ask the question, what's the role of a father? How can a father be a father in this case, right? What's the role of a father in this type of situation, man? You know what I'm saying? Clearly, it's not him unaliving the family and setting the family house on fire. Clearly, that's not a good example of a father. Clearly. But what is? What is a good example of a father, right? What is a father supposed to do? In a situation like this, you see children that are not being taken care of, right? If the father is available and around to take care of them, that father should be, you know what I mean, should be allowed to take care of his children. You feel me? That's what we're going to say. Hey, Shalom, Trooper. Shalom, Yahweh Shimi Yahweh Shabbat. Good to see you out. Checking in from South Carolina, Most High in Christ. Young man Larry Brown said, I think it's whatever he can provide at the time. I heard that. Most High in Christ. Most High in Christ, talking about the provider situation. Yeah, man. So it's just something. This story was a terrible tragedy, and it's something that I want to bring out because 1, it shows what a father is not supposed to do. 2, it shows that these oppressors are evil, violent creatures that should be put in cages, if you will. You understand? These are people that should be monitored and watched, and every once in a while, you got to throw them against the wall and frisk them and make sure they ain't got no weapons on them. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they do to us. The stop and frisk happens to our people. Maybe we should be stopping and frisking them so we can save families on this earth, man. You know what I mean? All right, let's get to the next one. Boom. Let's go talk about Nolan Wells for a second. Everybody heard this story about Nolan Wells, man. Nolan Wells was the brother in Mississippi. So, like, I know y'all ain't trying to see that. I don't know why they letting me. I do not want to see this man naked body. Nolan Wells was the brother that they found in Mississippi. And he was, you feel me? What's the word I'm looking for? He was found on the beach. He went out with some friends, and he was found unalived on the beach. Right? And they're still going through the process, they being the federal agents, they being the local police, they being all of the judicial system, going through the motions of trying to find out who did this to Nolan Wells, right? There's a lot of opinions about it. There's a lot of clues about there. We talked about it on Sunday. We talked about this on Sunday at the podcast. I played the video where the sister cleaned up the audio and made it louder for you to hear the background. If you haven't watched that, you should go watch that video. That was a good video the sister made. We played it on the One West Perspective podcast. Y'all definitely need to go check that out if you hadn't checked it out. However, there was some arrests made in the Nolan Wells investigation. This is the third arrest that they've made in this Nolan Wells situation, man. This is the third arrest. You understand? The third arrest. But none of them, not a single one of them, is tied to what happened to Nolan Wells. All of these arrests are coming because people are, I guess, harassing and threatening witnesses of the case. So we're going to read a little bit of this story, and we're going to talk about, again, we're going to talk about what's the responsibility of a father. You know what I mean? What's the responsibility of a father? What's the role of a father in situations like this? All right? So this story says, do not go outside. Federal agents make another arrest as Nolan Wells' investigation takes another dark turn. Federal authorities have arrested a third person accused of threatening witnesses connected to the investigation of the death of Mississippi College freshman Nolan Xavier Wells, expanding a growing series of criminal cases tied not to the 18-year-old's death itself, but to intimidation and threats directed at people involved in the investigation. Now, let me ask you a question. As a father, right? If you have children, if you have nephews, nieces, cousins, little cousins, stuff like that, you are a father role. You have your whatever come talk to you, and they're very frustrated about this situation, right? They are very frustrated about the situation and how it's being handled. There's no results coming because of whatever the case may be. You feel me? There's no progress being made in the case. How do you talk to your child about how they should respond to that situation, right? Because these three people threatened the witnesses of the case, and now they are behind bars. Now they are locked up for X amount of years. Now they have become victims of this situation, and now their families are affected because of the decision that they made. So the question I'm asking you is this: what would you tell your father? What would you tell your son? What would you tell your daughter who's upset and really wants to take action because they hurt behind this case? What would you tell them? What would you tell them? The first thing you definitely want to make sure you tell them is to not go break the law. Right? That's something that we say here in the ISUPK all the time. We hate what the Lord hates, and the Lord hates the oppressor. The Lord hates the oppressor, and we hate what the Lord hates. But we do not commit any crimes in that. You understand? We don't commit any crimes in the pursuit of our loving the Most High and doing what the Most High would have us to do. We don't commit crimes. So that's one thing you definitely got to tell them is don't go out here and commit no crimes. That would be one thing. But the first thing I would tell them is that the oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of. And that solves a lot of problems right there. That knowing that the oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of, knowing that, man, listen. Hey, Shalom sis. Sister Rock'em in the building. Shalom, y'all was smart. Thought about Shimmy, how was shot. Good to see you, sis. Checking in from Alabama. Man, listen. Knowing that the oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of, that right there solves a lot of problems mentally. It solves a lot of the angst and the aggravation and the frustration you feel because of how things unfold in this earth. Realizing that the oppressor is the devil, it gives a reason for why we don't have justice in this Nolan Wells situation. It's not sufficient. Children. And before I say that, I want to say this. There's no blame that I put on Nolan Wells. There's no blame that I put on Nolan Wells' family. All I'm doing is learning from it. I'm learning from the unfortunate tragedy that Nolan Wells' family is going through. However, with that said, in the ISUPK, we know that this oppressor is the devil, and I will not allow my child to celebrate the 4th of July. I will not allow my child to go out on a boat with oppressors to celebrate the 4th of July, to go out to an island that has limited to no cell phone reception by himself. He's going with the enemy. He's out there with the enemy. You sending them into a den of thieves. We talked about this again. I talked about this Sunday. When you send your children to these public schools, and you send them to these private schools, whatever the case may be, wherever there are oppressors, you sending them into the dungeon. You send them into the den of lions. And you need to make sure you teach your children how to act in that den. You understand what I'm saying? So these are the lessons that I would take away from it, right? And going back to the situation about how these people that are threatening these witnesses and now are being locked up, like, there's a different way to handle your frustration. There's a different way to take out your frustration. You can take out your frustration by coming to camp. You just don't understand the therapeutic the therapeutic release there is from having an oppressor kiss your boots. You don't understand the therapeutic process that you go through by telling the oppressor that he is the devil to his face. It's a lot of therapy. You feel me? It's it's real. It's real. It's a good release. You feel me? Going to camp, you know what I'm saying? Keeping these laws, loving your brothers and sisters, going to the Passover, doing these things helps to it puts salve on the wound of these it's like it puts salve on the wounds that these oppressors have inflicted on us. You understand what I'm saying? So again, instead of threatening and creating, and you know what I mean, doing crimes, that's what I'm trying to say. Instead of threatening and doing crimes that are going to end you up, send you to jail, and lock you up for X amount of years, instead of that, let's just not celebrate Christmas. Let's just not celebrate the 4th of July. Let's take that anger and put it in the right direction, which is us not keeping Christmas, not keeping Easter, not keeping your birthdays, not celebrating New Year's Day and stuff like that. Instead, we now put our anger and our emotion towards ourselves. It's like, I don't know who that is on that video. That's distracting. So like, we ain't talking about, we talking about this brother right here, Nolan Wells. You understand what I'm saying? But nah, you understand? That's why we had to put our emotions in the right place, because we got to put those emotions in check. We got to control our emotions, especially as a father. The number one responsibility of a father is being able to control your emotions, to be able to control and have discipline. That's for any man, not even just a father. You need to be able to put your emotions in check and know that when you're angry, you don't have to act on that anger. You feel me? In a way that's going to cause you to sin. What the Bible says, be angry and sin not. You feel me? That's what we're talking about. And that's that on that. Let me go. I got one more story we're going to get up. And this one is an easy one right here. And straight here in Alabama. Right here in Alabama. Let me pull this up real quick and we're going to get into it. Y'all have any questions? Let me know if y'all have any questions or anything like that, man, while I'm getting this story pulled up. Anything y'all want to add to the conversation, please do jump in the chat. We can have this conversation tonight for sure. There we go. So yeah, we're gonna watch a short article about the Elmore County breaks ground on a new $70 million jail. And again, we're still talking about what's the role of a father in all of this. You understand? I mean, unmute it and we're going to get it going.
Dollar jail project is officially underway in Elmore County. It will double capacity from 242 beds to 480 to relieve critical overcrowding.
Today's groundbreaking marks a complete transformation and drives urgent upgrades to medical care and maintenance facilities. WSFA 12 News anchor Ian Alvano has more.
31 years.
So you heard what they said. They said they're breaking ground on the Elmore County Jail. It's going to be a $70 million that Meemaw putting, and I think it's Meemaw, and I guess she's still the same person, that Meemaw's putting in on these jails. She's putting in the breaking ground on this jail, going from 200 some odd beds to 400 some odd beds. Doubling up on them. You feel me? Let's go into it.
Years later, and the Elmore County Jail is getting a facelift. It's all about growth. As the county gets more residents, the decision to start anew on the jail was decided.
Nothing sexy about a jail. Nobody ever wants to spend their tax money on a blamed jail, but that blame it is a needed, whether you refer to it as asset or liability, you got to have one.
Right now, inmate.
You got to have one. You got to have a jail. Hey, you got to have it. You gotta have a jail. What he say? You can't exist without having a jail. Ain't that crazy? You can't go out here and not have a jail. I wonder if there's another way. I wonder if there's a better way than just having to have a jail. This is a question we asking tonight: is what is the role of a father? What is the role of a father in this? I want y'all to think about that. Boom. Let's keep going. I don't think there's nothing left on this video. I just wanted to bring it up.
Some staff are enduring a jail with no heat or air conditioning, where winter temperatures could plummet to 65 degrees and summer heat could soar upwards of 90. The new facility promises to end that misery, while slashing the staff needed for meal service and dramatically expanding medical care with larger exam rooms and dedicated nurse offices.
I guarantee you, if you went and asked any of them 300 inmates, they would say, yes, we need a new jail, because it'll just provide an overall better environment for the inmate.
Crosby believes.
Yeah, I don't disagree with him on that. I think definitely these jails in Alabama have been terrible situations, man, especially when you start looking at like Limestone County and all these other places. These jails are underfunded, overcrowded, understaffed, all of the things which make a terrible nightmare. You know what I'm saying? So definitely need to get that stuff together. I agree with him on that. But can we not find a way to keep brothers out of jail? How about that? Is there a way that we can add funding into these neighborhoods to prevent brothers from going to jail? That's what I'm saying. We don't need all this other stuff. You know what I mean? Maybe we should stop planting evidence on brothers and really helping people, starting to rehabilitate these neighborhoods and help them. Maybe that's what we do. Anyway, let me get to these scriptures, man. We're talking about the responsibility of a father. This is the first responsibility of a father, and I know everybody ain't going to like it. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3. This is the first one. I got to say this one. You know what I mean? In America, in 2026, we got to go to 1 Corinthians 11 and 3 as the first one we go to. You feel me? We got to go here. This is your first responsibility, black man. Here we go. Here you go. Boom. I can't zoom in like that. Let me boom. 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 3. Again, this is your first responsibility as a man. 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 3 says this: but I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God. That's what the Bible say. That's what the Bible say. Don't get mad at me. I'm just reading the Bible. That woman ain't your head, black man. They understand the Christmas ain't your head. The oppressor ain't your head, black man. You know what I mean? You don't serve this oppressor. We don't serve this oppressor. We serve the Most High. That's what we serve. You understand? We serve Christ, our King. That's who we serve. You got to understand that. That's got to be number one. And that releases a lot of the brainwashing on our brothers out here, man. That releases a lot of the confusion that our brothers have out here. Is that you are not, that your woman is not your head. She is not your God. That black woman is not your God. She is not your, what's the word I'm looking for? Goddess. She ain't no goddess. She ain't no queen. She is not any of that. She's your helpmeet. She's not your head. You understand? So that's that. That's the first thing you got to realize. That you the man. And you got to be a man. Second thing you got to realize is Deuteronomy chapter 6. We're going to go over there. Deuteronomy chapter 6. Y'all got any questions? Bring them out. We'll take them questions tonight. Deuteronomy chapter 6. Now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments, which the Lord your God commanded to teach you, that ye might do them in the land whether you go to possess it. Now these are the commandments, statutes, and judgments, no matter where you go. The Lord taught the men the judgments and the statutes, and he told us to take it with us in the land wherever we go to possess it. You understand? Let's drop down to verse 6. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart. That means that should be in your mind. Keep these commandments in your mind. Keep these commandments in your heart. Keep them in whatever you do. Verse 7, this is the heavy part of a father. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. You got to teach this to your children. You got to share this with your children, man. You got to do this, man. This is the responsibility of a father, is to teach your children the law, statutes, and commandments. How can you teach your children the law, statutes, and commandments if you don't know them yourself? You got to learn these law, statutes, and commandments. The only way you're going to learn them is coming to the ISUPK and the commandments in your honor. You heard? This is what you got to do. This is the best way to learn it. So your responsibility as a father is to teach your children. But not only teach your children, it goes heavier than that. Verse 8, and thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and that shall be frontlets between thine eyes. What does that mean? Somebody explain that to me. If y'all in the comment section, I give y'all we got a couple people watching, man. If y'all want to engage in the comment section, tell me, what does it mean that you shall bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and that shall be frontlets between thine eyes? Somebody type in the chat and tell me what that is. Somebody tell me what that means. Most High in Christ says. Most High in Christ. The water says. The water for being honest. A lot of people that try to lie and make it up. The water says for being honest. That's an honest sister right there. That's a trustworthy sister. Most High in Christ. When it says that you're supposed to sign, bind them for a sign upon thy hand, that means you're doing exactly what the law tells you to do. A sign in your hand that everything you do is in accordance with the law, statutes, and commandments. You got to bind them for a sign upon thy hand. And your hand is what you do, right? Is what you touch. The frontlets between thine eyes is what you think, right? A frontlet, this would be a frontlet, right? This would be a frontlet. It's what you think is on your head, is on your brain. It's always on your mind. It's the law, statutes, commandments are always on your mind, and they in everything you do, everything you touch. When you sit down to eat, you are considering, what am I eating? I don't want to eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster because that's not what the Lord would have to do. So I think about that prior to me going to eat. I eat what is correct and right for me to eat. That's what I do. When I go to talk to my rib, it's the law is in my brain. I'm dealing with her according to the law. I'm dealing with her according to how the law has taught me, and it's on my mind when I go talk to her. You understand? When I go out here and I do business with these oppressors, I'm doing business in reflection of that. You know what I mean? That's how that is. I think y'all understand what I'm saying. That's what that is. To bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and shall be frontlets between thine eyes. That's what that is. All right. Verse 9. And thou shalt write them upon the posts of thy house and on thy gates. I mean, they're supposed to be everywhere. Now, this is not literal, right? This is not, you ain't got to go to Amazon and buy all kind of 10 commandments and post them up at your house. That's not what that's saying. But it's saying that it's all over the place. Because I asked that question when I first came to the school, right? When I first heard this scripture breakdown and they told me that I read this scripture in class, I asked that question. But they said it's not something that you have to literally post everywhere. But it's just metaphorically that it's everywhere. That you don't, when the feast of unleavened bread come in, you ain't got no leaven in your house. You understand? You don't have whores running around your house. You understand? God says. God said, I asked that same question. I was like, man, I need to go go to Amazon and buy some 10 Commandment cards and post them all over the place. But now they said that's not a literal. So, but what it is that floats through your whole house. Everything in your house is like that. Everything in your house follows these commandments. Everything in your house follows what the Lord has told us to do. You know what I mean? It's on the walls. You know what I mean? It's in the air. You feel me? It's in the air. It's everywhere. You understand what I'm saying? That's what that's all about. Verse 10. It's like, and it shall be when the Lord thy God shall have brought thee into the land which he sware unto his fathers. I think I wanted to drop that there. Into the land of fathers Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, and give thee great and goodly cities which thou buildest not, and the houses full of good things which thou fillest not, and wells dig which thou diggest not, vineyards and olive trees which thou plantest not. When thou shalt when thou shalt have eaten and be full, then beware lest thou forget the Lord, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. That's a commandment right there. As a father, we should never forget the Lord, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt. When we eating good, our family is good, our house is good, we got all of these good and beautiful things going on, we should not. It says beware. That's when you got to beware. Lest thou forget the Lord. Verse 13, thou shalt fear the Lord thy God, and serve him, and shalt swear by his name. Ye shall not go out after other gods, and the gods of the people which are round about you. These are the responsibilities of a father. This is how you be a strong father right here, man. By keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. You heard? While we're in the Old Testament, let's go to Proverbs chapter 3, verses 1 through 10. Proverbs chapter 3, verses 1 through 10. Yeah, cuz, yeah, man, yeah, please, don't do that. Don't go out there. Don't go out there and don't waste your money, you know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, like, how many laws we have, right? Clearly it's more than 10. That's just the 10. If you read the story, it's just the 10 that the people were able to hear. After he gave them 10, they said, it's too much. Moses, you go up there and handle that. And Moses went up there with the Most High and got all of the laws. Now, there's reports that it's 613, 720. I don't know. It's more than 10. So if you only put the 10, you're neglecting the laws of a brother. the law of a sister. You're neglecting multiple wives, the law of multiple wives. You're neglecting all of these other things. So only putting the 10 up there don't make sense anyway. So it's, you know what I mean? It's heavy to, yeah, y'all understand it, man. Y'all understand it. We all learn. We all learn. Damn right, sis. Basically, meditate on the Most High laws day and night, all day. 100%. That is the role. That is the responsibility of a father. 100%. 100%. All right. Let's get this Proverbs chapter 3, verse 1. We're going to get this going. All right. My son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments. This is a father talking to a son. This is what you're supposed to say to your son. Forget not my law. Let thine heart keep my commandments. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. This is what you're supposed to say to your child. Give them this before they go out into this world. Give them this. Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the table of thine heart. So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of God and man. These are the things we should teach our children. Don't teach your children how to sell dope. Don't teach your children how to roll a blunt. Don't teach your children how to get a whore. Instead, teach them this. Give this to them. Because this will take them further than anything else that we just talked about. Don't teach them how to mistreat your woman. Teach them how to treat that woman right and raise that woman right and correct that woman right. Teach them that. Verse 6, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Verse 7, be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. It shall be health to thy navel and marrow to thy bones. So like, honor the Lord with thy substance and with the first fruits of all thine increase. So shall thy barns be filled with plenty, and thy presses shall burst out with new wine. If you want to teach your child how to get some money, teach them how to serve and obey the Lord first. All that's going to be added to it. These are the things we're supposed to teach our children, man. This is how we're supposed to raise our children. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 4. Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 4. Verse 1 and 3, we're going to talk about those when I was talking about what's the responsibility of a child. But right now, we're going to go to verse 4. And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. What do it mean when it says provoke not your children to wrath? Give me an example. If you have an example of a father provoking their children to wrath. Give me an example of a father provoking their children to wrath. I'm going to give you one. Let me give you one. This is an example of a father provoking their children to wrath. Hey, son. Damn right. Damn right. Before I give you mine, damn right, sis. Abuse in general. Damn right, sis. That's definitely one way. That's definitely one way. Damn right. That's definitely one way. I'm going to give you another one. Hey, son, this Saturday, I'm coming over there. We're going to go to Top Golf. What did it say? Hey, son, I'm coming over there. We're going to go to, what's the word I'm looking for, man? What's that place? Urban Air. That's it. We're going to go to Urban Air. I'm coming over there Saturday. We're going to go to Urban Air. And then Saturday come, your son out there with his bags, ready to go, telling all his brothers and sisters, hey, my daddy coming over here, he gonna take me to Urban Air Saturday. Hey man, my daddy coming over here Saturday, we going to Urban Air, we probably gonna get some ice cream after. And then Saturday come. And then Saturday went. And you ain't keep your word to him. You do that enough times, there's gonna be a lot of wrath in that boy. You do that enough times, there's gonna be a lot of wrath in that boy, man. You provoking that child to wrath at that point. But now you're gonna start to hate you. You do that enough times, you're gonna start to hate you. I love that one. I love that one. You know, man, Larry said, tell him to do things you don't do yourself. That's a heavy one. Telling them to do things you don't do yourself. He also talked about physical abuse. Physical abuse is like 100%. I'm glad you put that caveat on there because I'm about to give you another scripture here. Yeah, man. You got to realize that a father has the ability to do that, to provoke a child to wrath. But you got to have balance. A father has to be balanced. You understand? A father has to be balanced. Like, I don't know how to say it. A father has to be balanced. You got to know when to beat and when not. It's like, I don't mean beat. I ain't saying beat like I'm beating you. I ain't saying that. You got to know when to punish and when not to punish. You got to know when to chastise verbally and when to take it to the other level. You got to know when. A father has to be balanced in that. You know what I'm saying? I agree 100% with that. All right, let's go to Ecclesiasticus, chapter 30. Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha. Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha. Chapter 30, and we're going to start at verse 1. Ecclesiasticus chapter 30 verse 1 says this, he that loveth his son causeth him oft to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end. Man, listen, that's a heavy one, bro. Because when you're raising your son, it's hard to, like we just talked about, having that balance, trying to find that balance. Like you wanna use the rod of correction, right? Which that could be multiple things, right? That could be sometimes you whooping them, sometimes you ain't. You're using that rod, and you got to find a balance. But it says, he that loveth his son causes him oft to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end. Verse 2, he that chastiseth his son shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance. Listen, man, if you raise your son right, that's how you going to be a good father. If you raise your son right as a father, when your child grows old and he's now taking care of business, he's handling the things that he has to do, he's holding himself right, raising his family. Now you as the father that have raised your child, you're going to rejoice in that. But if you let them do all this little sideways stuff right now today while they're children, and then you never correct it, and then it gets old, and now he's ashamed. Verse 3, he that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him. Verse 4, though his father die, yet he is as though he were not dead, for he had left one behind him that is like himself. And brother, that's what all us fathers want. If you got a son, that's what we all want. 100%. Sis said, I agree. I think back on the discipline I was raised with, and I'm so happy I was raised with sense. Damn right, sis. Damn right. It make a difference. It make a difference when you're being raised right. When you're being raised by parents that chastise you and get you right and make sure you got some sense. You appreciate that. You don't appreciate it while you're going through it all the time. All the time, you don't appreciate it while you're going through it. But at the end, you appreciate that. You appreciate that. You know, man, Larry Brown said it's definitely a job finding that balance. But it's a beautiful thing when they become adults. My son is 20 now, and I couldn't ask for a better son. Damn right. Damn right. 100%. But yeah, verse 4, though his father yet died, we all want our sons to be just like us when we leave. That he lives on in that legacy. That legacy that we leave behind, we want one that's of value. If you really want a legacy of value, you got to do these things to raise your child. You have to be a responsible father. If you don't be a responsible father today, you cannot appreciate these things later. What does the old adage say? If you play now, you're going to suffer later. If you don't raise this child right now, you're going to suffer later. Verse 5, while he lived, he saw and rejoiced in him. And when he died, he was not sorrowful. Verse 6, he left behind him an avenger against his enemies, and one that shall requite kindness to his friends. Now here's the reverse of it. He that maketh too much of his son shall bind up his wounds, and his bowels will be troubled at every cry. You know how people be making too much of their son, man. You see it all the time. You know what I'm saying? You got all the... I don't want to describe it like that, but I see a lot of them, they just making too much of the boy, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to describe somebody like that, wears polo all the time, and they got Jordans all the time, stuff like that. But ain't nothing wrong with your son having polo and Jordans and stuff like that, as long as it's within reason, right? You don't want to make too much of your son. That's what you want to make sure you raise them with sense. He that maketh too much of his son shall bind up his wounds, and his bowels will be troubled at every cry. A horse not broken becometh headstrong, and a child left to himself will be willful. Verse 9, conquer thy child, and he shall make thee afraid. Play with him, and he will bring thee to heaviness. Verse 10, laugh not with him, lest thou have sorrow with him, and lest thou gnash thy teeth in the end. Give no liberty in his youth, and wink not at his follies. That's a heavy one. You can't wink at your son's follies. If your son do something wrong, it's on you to correct him. It's on you to pay attention to it and make sure you address that at the time that it happens. Don't give him no liberty to make those types of mistakes. Give him no liberty to do that. Bow down, verse 12, bow down his neck while he is young, and beat him on the sides while he is a child, lest he wax stubborn and be disobedient unto thee, and so bring sorrow to thine heart. Verse 13, chastise thy son and hold him to labor, lest his lewd behavior be an offense unto thee. Man, how many times you see kids out here that don't want to do no work? How many times you see kids out here that just don't want to do nothing? Like the sister said, they wasn't raised right, man. Hold them to labor, man. Put them to work. Make them do something. Make them carry something. That's how my father raised me. My father told me I had to do something. I couldn't just be sitting around the house. I used to hate it, but I appreciate it. Hold him to labor, lest his lewd behavior be an offense unto thee. Better is the poor, being sound and strong of constitution, than a rich man that is afflicted in his body. Y'all heard everything we talked about. That's how you raise a son, man. That's how you raise a son. That's right. That's right. What the sister said is right, goddamn. I can't be mad at it. It's somebody that was raised by men and that lazy, but those fathers that raise lazy sons are terrible fathers. You know what I'm saying? It's somebody here that was raised by men. It's like, yeah, they were raised by men, but they were raised by terrible fathers. You know what I'm saying? So, we don't want that. We don't need that. All right, Most High Christ. Man, that's all I got, man. I just wanted to bring those scriptures out, man. Y'all got anything y'all want to add to the class before we get up out of here? You know what I mean? I want to talk about the responsibility of a father, man. Because, you know, as school go back into session, it's time to kind of think about those things and kind of get back to, all right, this is how I should raise my child. This is how we should raise our children. This is how we should do the things that we do. And it's good to talk about that now, especially now. You know what I mean? We talk about what's the responsibility of a father. Next week, we're going to talk about what's the responsibility of a mother. I think I'm going to try to sneak in what's the responsibility of children as well. You know what I mean? And we might talk about the community in that part as well, because I only got one more class with y'all before I switch over, before the brothers come in and start teaching. So we're going to try to address those two topics before it's over with. Most High in Christ, sis. Most High in Christ, the water, sis. I appreciate it. So yeah, that's what we're gonna talk about, man. That's what we're gonna do next week. So we're gonna talk about that next week, and then I'm gonna pass it over to the brothers after that, and then we'll be back after that for those, you know what I mean, for that rotation. So y'all got it. Y'all know how it is, man. Keep rocking and rolling. If y'all have any questions, throw them in the chat. If you don't, hit my line, hit my DMs, hit ISUPK Alabama. The brothers will be able to get your message and we'll respond to your questions there. Other than that, I'm gonna salute y'all out, man. Shalom. We are Slack. I'm going to do my announcement. We are the ISUPK, started out at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana, teaching the truth since 1969 that blacks, Hispanics, and natives are the 12 tribes of Israel. You understand? If you want to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. And with that, we're going to say, I Majum. We're going to salute y'all out. Y'all can't see my face, huh? Say, I Majum. Majum Shabbat. I Majum. Barak. Yahweh Ba Shem, Yahweh Shah Barak the Thumb. Yajim Matai. Gonna give one courteous salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, I Majum. I Majum Shabbat. I Majum. Barak. Yahweh Shemal Athar Ba Shem, Yahweh Shah. Yajim Matai. Class dismissed.